On today's show, a winter camper shares his special spot in the woods, a humble destination that changed Luke Urvig's outdoor outlook.
This is my reset, my annual reset.
We sweat the details on Minnesota's love of saunas and learn a little bit about Minnesota Bound's newest black lab, Millie.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill, Millie, and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Yep, today we're going to talk about winter camping, and when most folks think of that sport, they tend to think in the North Woods, places like the Boundary Waters.
We met one adventurer whose idea of a snowy nirvana is actually south at the edge of a cornfield.
Yeah, a place that changed Luke Urvig's life.
Loneliness and alone. Two very different sensations on this winter day.
My name's Luke Urvig, and we are in southeast Minnesota, and we are in a woods that's very special to me. I try to go a different place each year, and this is kind of like my favorite place. Big valley, there's no wind, there's plenty of wildlife.
See, Luke Urvig visits alone this spot exactly one time every winter.
This is just a place that is special to me and where I like to go winter camping. It's different. It's quiet. I feel it. I got the stove going. In the wintertime, if you stoke this up right, you're talking like 4 or 5 hours of heat. Winter camping can be crazy and uncomfortable, but if you do it like this, it's very comfortable.
Camp chores take time. In fact, out here, they never end.
This will be good enough. All right. You don't want softwood when you're winter camping, but if you're trying to specifically heat your tent, you're gonna wanna have a good BTU, which is oak. There we go. All right, yeah, this would be great. It's always quiet, you know, and that's half the reason why I come down here, just because it's so quiet.
The other reason comes in a moment while out for an afternoon walk.
10 years ago, I found myself in a place where I needed to be a little bit more mature and more dedicated to life. I had an alcohol addiction. I need to recreate myself in the outdoors. That's how I was structured back before I was drinking. I need to do that now. And of course, it's like in the middle of winter, and I'm like, man, I wish I could go camping. And then I'm like, oh, why not? Let's do it.
Luke ended up here, in this camp, in this silence. A place that changed him.
February 19th, it was yesterday. Yesterday was my 10-year sobriety, you know, and to have that underneath my belt is crazy. You know, I'm successful in many ways, but in life specifically, I love every day. It's an adventure. This place has been a path to that. You never know what wildlife is down here, you know, it could be turkeys, could be deer, could be coyotes, could be, you know, fox.
Maybe that's why Luke travels with a camera.
It's always by my side now. I feel safe when it's by my side.
He wants to make sure he documents forever life's magic moments, snapshots in time, the good of all this.
Because this has really been a place where I've been able to evolve myself.
A trip that culminates fireside.
Let's come together. This is my grandma's recipe. All right, now it's time to cut up some vegetables. Everything is slower in nature in the wintertime. This is how we do it. Okay. You know, this is my reset, my annual reset. Life is good. The moment we've been waiting for. A whole year just to have this bowl of chili. It's pretty cool. It just does not get any better than this. It's like I found the recipe to gold.
Sure did. A recipe for life, well spent alone, but never lonely.
I come out here, I eat good, I sleep good, I'm not cold, I'm not hungry. I'm gonna sleep great tonight. It's 70 degrees in my tent right now. Everything is just perfect. It's perfect.
Coming up, get ready to sweat out the details on Minnesota's Scandinavian ties, a getaway to the sauna.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Strike Master, Leech Lake Area Tourism, and by Voyager Lodge and Houseboats.
Okay, sauna, sauna, sauna. However you say it, the sensations are always the same. It is a tradition as old as time, now with Minnesota ties.
The beauty of a Minnesota winter, 30 below, no clouds. You can see all the stars. You can take a sauna. You can stand outside in your wool socks with no clothes and feel warm. And people all the time are like, Minnesota's winters are so bold, they're so cold. Well, sauna is a tool. You know, it was a tool even back in Finland.
The word sauna is of Finnish origin. In fact, it's the only Finnish word used in everyday English. But the act of taking a sauna and the reasons for doing so evolved over time. Sauna is thought to originate somewhere in Northern Europe, but became particularly essential in Finnish culture. It was so necessary that early Finnish immigrants brought it with them to the United States. The oldest sauna in the Great Lakes region can be found right here in Cokato, Minnesota.
Because of the Homestead Act, there was 3 families that came from Finland. They built their houses on the corners so they could be together. And that included building a sauna. They were very clean people, very cleanly people, because it was used not only for bathing for the sauna, but it was used for a laundry room. It was used as a medical area. It was the cleanliest place on the farm because it was heated to such high temperatures that no bacteria or viruses could survive at that temperature.
To this day, Minnesotans and countless other Americans keep that tradition alive.
Every time we've bought a house, we've always made sure there's a spot to put a sauna.
Darren and Suzanne Young can't imagine a home without one.
We had a little village here at one time. There were a lot of saunas, but now we're down to, one outside and one inside.
Darren builds them any way he can, like this one.
Co-worker, it was his junior high playhouse. And then I bought it from them to convert it into a sauna. I think the most we've ever had is 4, but I think you could maybe squeeze 5 or 6. I made the stove. It was a tent stove for a big old wall tent.
It's fun for me to see him get excited about saunas.
We got the door at a garage sale. I think the door is one of the coolest things.
He enjoys them a lot.
It relaxes me a lot because I'm usually a person that doesn't relax a whole lot, and I usually spend an hour in there and I come inside and you're a bit of a different person, I think.
It's more about peace of mind, and it's really cool to see now in this year and in this era that sauna is being kind of proclaimed as a real deal and something health-wise we should do.
Winter is the gloomy time of the year, and the sauna is the one bright spot.
Oh, it's awesome. Take a few deep breaths and kind of shut everything off for a while.
A cleanse of both mind and spirit.
You will never find peace and tranquility in Minnesota's winter like you can with the sauna.
Still ahead, meet Minnesota Bound Millie. But first, we help you figure out fat tire bikes for winter fun and also offer a bit of advice to stay in touch and stay safe in the woods.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
A little snow has never prevented any of us from enjoying the great outdoors. And have you ever had the desire to plow through the snow in the woods on a bike? Well, fat tire biking seems to be all the rage, and today I'm going to show you how to get started. Hey Josh.
Hey Laura, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. Now, I've been seeing these fat tire bikes all over the Twin Cities and on trails, and I'm really curious on what I need to get started.
Well, the best thing about fat bikes is all you really need is the bike.
Awesome.
But we do have some specialty products here to show you. We've got a really cool boot by 45 North. They actually partnered with Red Wing. Waterproof, super warm. Most folks are just going with the flat pedal. Icier days, we look to add studded tires. Most bikes won't come with studded tires, but we've got lots of options. Some tires can be studded, otherwise you can buy one pre-studded like this here. Good warm gloves, something that's going to allow you to shift and brake. Goggles can be nice if the snow is coming down or it's super cold out, just trying to cover as much skin as possible. Same thing with the face mask here. Helmet's always a good idea when riding on ice and snow.
Now, the only last thing that we need here is obviously the bike.
We've got a couple really cool fat bikes over here.
It's pretty obvious on how it got its name, fat tire.
Yeah, typically a fat bike is going to be at least a 3.8-inch tire, if not bigger, and now we go all the way up to 5-inch tires.
Is there anything else I need to know before we go hit the trails, Josh?
You know where the brakes are?
And I do now.
All right. Before we head outside, let's get the seat height adjusted for you. Looks a little high right now.
How do you know what the height should be?
We're gonna just kind of come at hip level to start.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna have you go ahead and jump on here.
Hip level.
And we'll see what your leg extension looks like.
It's good to have a countertop to hang on to.
Exactly. Go ahead and pedal backwards a few times. Yeah, so we're just looking for a slight bend in your knee. That looks pretty good. We're down the Minnehaha Creek Trail right now. Looks like things have gotten cleared out pretty good, but there's still some patches of ice. Fat bikes are super nice for traction and keeping you upright.
And where are your favorite places to ride fat tire bikes?
Down at the river bottoms is like a fat bike super highway, so that's a really good spot. Most of the regular mountain bike trails that we ride in the summer are actually now groomed in the winter, so Lebanon Hills, Murphy-Hanaran, Theodore Worth.
And what do you think the passion is with fat tire biking? Why are people so into it?
Just another way to stay outside. I think there's a lot of really strong bicycle enthusiasts that are in Minnesota, and the ability to just keep that going throughout the winter is a big plus.
Well, since we're taking some of the snowy trails, and I'm a beginner, I'm going with safety first here. Put on the handy helmet. You know, it's probably a cushiony fall if I do go down, but you know, why risk it?
Let's go.
Off we go. Oh, it's not too bad. All right, so there you have have it, shredding powder on 2 wheels. It's pretty easy to do. But most important, just make sure you get outside. Thanks, Josh, for a great day.
You're welcome.
Here we go.
Hey everybody, Bill Shirk, the man about the woods. You know, I spend a lot of time off the grid outdoors. What that means is away from electricity and out of range of areas where cell phones work, but I am still able to communicate with my wife back home. And I get a lot of questions about how I do it. And the systems are actually pretty simple. It's great, they're little GPS units. In the past, I used this InReach by Garmin, but I've upped my game these days to the Spot. This is the Gen 4, and this is the Mac Daddy. Here's my little computer in the woods, right? This Spot system connects to a GPS satellite system, so really anywhere you are on the planet, you can communicate with folks back home. It's got a keypad, so I can type in messages and say, honey, I made it to camp, send it, and in 10 minutes, she's gonna get that message back home. The other fun function of these, they track you. So Katie can be back home with the kids and they can see where I am traveling. The other part that is so important about these units, you know, I go off the grid with my dad as well. There's an SOS feature. If I open this up and I hit this SOS button, I am going to get help. It sends out a signal, search and rescue will come find you wherever you are on the planet. Of note, these all need a activation. You have to have kind of a monthly subscription to use. But what's nice is you don't have to do an annual plan. You can just get them 1 month at a time. So if you've got a big trip planned, this is a great way to communicate and have a safety net when you're off the grid.
Straight ahead, get to know a little bit more about the newest member of our team, Minnesota Bound Millie.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Flow Docks and Lifts, Midwest Exteriors MN, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
A lot of people have been asking about this young lady right here, Minnesota Bound Millie.
And so we decided it's time for you to get to know our newest black lab.
Our love of dogs runs deep. Yes. Our connection to canines is in our DNA as we evolved together. For centuries, dogs have been a part of our lives as providers, protectors,
good boy,
work partners,
easy, whoa,
simply a best friend, and more. For 25 years, Ron Shera shared the spotlight and his love of black labs with his companion Raven. Many of us have a special place in our hearts for Raven, as the bond between Ron and Raven reminded us of our own relationship with our fur family members. After Raven passed and the time healed our broken hearts, we decided that our passion for dogs needed to live on. With that, meet Minnesota Bound Millie. Millie is not a replacement to Raven, but is our mascot.
Hey everybody, Laura and I and Millie welcome you to today's show.
A brand ambassador representing our love of the outdoors and gun dogs. Millie is a black Labrador retriever owned by a Minnesota Bound team member. She occasionally enjoys sharing the spotlight on the show, but we all know Millie really prefers to be out in the field chasing pheasants and other upland game, just as she was born to do. Dogs seem to teach us that the joys in life are pretty simple. If watching a wagging tail can put a smile on our face, why would we ever pass that up? There you go, Millie. You're a star.
She's just ready to hunt, right?
Yes, she is.
Well, that about does it for us. We will all see you back here next week, right, Millie?
And she's off to go do some hunting. In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.